Peace to the family. What's going on? Much love to you. We're going to get this one right to the point. What's going on, Hill Mobile? Super Savos. Peace, peace, peace. Black is absolute. What's happening? Beautiful Truth. Peace. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Swipe and invite, please. Please swipe and invite. At least in my mind, I feel this is going to be an important message tonight. Peace, peace, peace. I am Marion Cole. How you doing tonight? Thanks for joining. Absolutely. Yes, please swipe and invite. How you doing? Sasha Vet. Thanks, everybody. I'm good, but I got something I want to talk about. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. What I want to talk about tonight is the need for spiritual protection and the need for integrity. So if you know somebody that could benefit from this conversation around spiritual protection and integrity, please swipe and invite. What's going on, It99? Peace to the family. I'm about to tell you a story of something that just transpired, just a little while ago, a few minutes. I'm fresh out of it. So a young lady came to me for an astrological reading, and she asked me for a reading. She paid for it a couple of days ago, and then she said she wanted it in person, right? And her voice sounded familiar, and she was like, we've talked before a couple of months ago, right? And she had a situation concerning her baby father. What's going on, family who just joined? Rena Golden. Thanks everybody for swiping and inviting. And she had told me she had told me like a few months ago. Peace, Lamiel. Everybody please swipe and invite. I think this is a very important story. Mrs. Hotel, what's going on? Peace. So she has said that her Empress Liz, peace. Mr. Rice Worldwide, what's going on? Mr. Rice Worldwide, I'm going to have to send you the Qigong video. And no, I do not have the money oil. It's still not made. It's been a little crazy over here. Thank you for the hugs. I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing on Twitter and sharing with your followers. So the sister came and she wanted to get a reading, right? And a few months ago, she was like, I need to get my daughter. My baby father took my daughter from me. Now, I am from a family where there was a lot of children snatching when I was young. Okay? My mother would grab us and take us from my father. My father would come snatch us back. They'll be fighting physically in court all over the place. In a way, I'm kind of happy nobody knew Matt. My mama had a background in magic, but since she was in the church, she wasn't heavy on doing it. But my grandmother was more into as people say, working roots and things like that. But my mother had it in her, but she was still more in the church, so it really wasn't. She was into praying and stuff like that. But I'm sure if they would have had kind of the knowledge that I have now, they would have been really throwing mad darts at one another, even though they were inadvertently, right? And neither one of them had spiritual protection from the other, okay? And this sister was telling me this story, and I was like, well, where do you stay? And she was like, I don't have a place to stay. And I was like, well, why do you want your daughters back? You want your child back, but you don't have a place to stay. And I was like, you need to have excuse me, a place to stay and lay your head, and then go about getting your daughter back. And I also know that it's more than one side to stories. So I hadn't talked to her, and then all of a sudden she pops back up. She didn't already pay for the reading, and she wanted to come get it today. That's a Mercury retrograde. Yes, people saying it started yesterday. That's the thick of it. So she was mad late getting to my house, right? And she was getting here. She was supposed to be here at 5, and then 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 7:30, at the latest 8 o'clock, be done, right? So she didn't get here till like 7:30. And then when she started telling me about the situation, and she was like, well, people are scheming on me. People are plotting on me. I need to know why they're doing this. This is another thing. Stop going to astrologers or whoever is saying why somebody's doing something. Go to somebody and ask them, what do I do about it? When you are under spiritual attack, find out what to do about it. Don't sit here and talk about why are they doing it? Why are they doing this to me? No. And she kept saying, well, I practice the Yoruba way, the ancient ones. But she didn't have any strategy. She had no strategy. Well, she had a strategy, but it was very weak. And she was like, yeah, I want you to do the reading. And I was like, yo, like, you late. Like, I really want to give you your money back. Peace, Shango. But I was like, let me listen to what you got going on, because you need some strategy right now, some common sense. And one time I got a reading from a brother who was the head of the Yoruba, Baba Wande Abendola, head of the Ifa Yoruba. He was the president of the Nigerian Senate. He taught history at Northwestern University in Chicago for like 30 years. And he was like, you don't need a reading when common sense can apply. Let me say this again. You don't need a reading when common sense can apply. And I was like, yo, this to me was an integrity issue. Here goes the other integrity piece. Yo, I'm not just going to read you and I see you sitting here suffering. She seemed like she was nodding. Like, and I was like, hey, you smoked some weed today? Because the way she was talking, she was like, she kept looking at her fingers and stuff like that. And like really wasn't like paying close attention. And, I was just like, this seemed like some drug induced. But it also, for people who be doing a lot of rituals, you open yourself up and you don't have no protection, and then you can get possessed. And you take on these attaching spirits. Now, the average person, I'm talking about who's watching this right now, I don't care what your religion is. The average person walking around today has anywhere from 9 to 16 attaching spirits. Not walk-ins yet. I ain't got the walk-ins. I'm talking about just attaching. Just attached to you. And they're feeding off of you like you are a refrigerator. Now, I've seen this in theory. I've seen it on people. I've seen it on myself. And I've seen when I do cleansing methods, smudging with sage don't work. That's the facts. Because when the smoke is gone, they come back. When the smoke is gone, they come back. Smudging is good when you move in this, but I'm talking about for some deep stuff, when they own you, plus you can and you can't smudge 24/7. That's why you need amulets and talismans. Gates open both ways. How do you know this? Because I study. I study with these masters. Funny, when I burn sage around my child father, he hates it. Dipped in the blood of Christ. No problem. Essential oils. No problem. What I'm giving you is what I know and what works. I do respect everybody's opinion, but rock with me right now. And just take what I'm saying with an open mind. All right? Once you look in, they look back. When this sister, who was only 24, she's only 24, and I could tell she was sitting right here on my couch. And I was like, yo, they're all over you. And so I came in and started playing. My spirit attachment removal. Now this that's playing in the background, I use it to cleanse the house. I can run this for hours and hours. So the whole time she was sitting here, this tone disturbs those attaching spirits. Just like the sister said, when she burns sage, your baby's fathers get upset or he gets mad. That's because they're attaching spirit. So you could use sage to see who don't like it. You can get this. Yes, Lamiel, that's right. You can get this at tybro.com. Somebody please type that in the thingy. Tybro.com, tybro.com. Click on products and then click on audio downloads. You can get it right now. These are my two go-tos. The vibrations on YouTube don't listen. You got to have something that's made for something like this. This is made for this. Those vibrations on YouTube aren't custom for spirit attachment removal. My other one is removing negative karma. Removing negative karma was the first one I ever had. Before I had this amulet, before I had my Angels of Sanctification medallion, I had that first, and I had $40, and I went and I thought I needed money, and I went to Miss Kathy Gibson and I was like, I need some money. And she handed me the removing negative karma, and she said sometimes you gotta get the darkness out so the light can come in. And I handed her the $20 and she said keep it. Scopes out. Like, you haven't heard this, so you don't know what it is, but I appreciate what you're saying. So, but you can go and listen to like a sample of it on the site. All right. And it's more than one sound. So, the need for spiritual protection. And as I was playing this, she was making faces. And like some of the things that I was saying to her, she was like cringing up. And I was like, why are you cringing? She said, because I feel these things and I'm having these images come through my mind. And I was like, wow. She didn't have no necklaces. She had on one little bracelet that matched the jacket that she had on. And so a lot of people think they get these crystals that are more of aesthetics. When you got to do heavy work, you have to get some heavy stuff. Okay? So that's why I'm saying the need for spiritual protection is major. Major. Now, integrity. I didn't do the reading. She was like, you're not going to do the reading? I was like, nope, I ain't doing the reading. Because that's not what you need. You need somebody to listen. You need somebody to listen to you, to give you some strategy. And that's what I'm going to do. And she was talking about, she was using a strategy that a lot of people use. That's it. Spirit attachment removal. Yep. And removing negative karma. You're going to get two that's over there. Those two. I feel you. This guy right here. So what's heavy is that a lot of the things that I was telling her and getting her to repeat, and when this sound was playing in the background, you could see already blocked. Don't worry, no, don't sweat that. You could see these. You could see these things. You could just see her feeling, and then she started pushing one of them off her breast, and she was like, "I'm not feeding you right now." And she was sitting there talking. Like you might see somebody like in the street talking to themselves on drugs or something. And I was like, this is real. But when you come up in this spot, when you come over to the temple, it's look like over my shoulder, like where the finger is pointing. I can go a little higher this way. I can go here. Like, it's mad stuff in here, and symbols and amulets and the prayers. Like, it's always some prayers being played around here all the time. And I was like, yo, exactly, the 12 stones on the breastplate of the priest attract the presence of God. And so I was like, you don't need a reading. But she had been over here for like an hour and a half. And then I was like, where are you going? What's your action plan when you leave from here? And she was like, I'm staying with somebody who I met on the bus. And then she just had a baby in November. Thank you. She just had her second child in November, and they took the child because she was smoking weed, because she follows Dr. Sebi. So she was smoking weed while she was pregnant because Dr. Sebi is like, smoking weed is good for you. So they found THC in her system. She didn't have a home address, and they took her child. Listen when I tell you, you need spiritual protection. Right. And it's not even really a LOL. Like, people listen to these jokers out here, and they don't realize that the karmic response, or how people can just like jump on them and be like, oh, you know, they just run and be like, oh, well, Dr. Sebi said such and such and such and such, and what? And then you asking me about these 12. She talking about, so you don't eat 12 herbs a day? And I was like, to Dr. Sebi, man, we went through a whole FU around here of people, including her baby daddies. We had a whole FU ceremony for everybody who is against her. And then she was like, just the stories, yo, that she was telling me that she's been buying. And I know sometimes people will be like, oh man, oh no, I ain't telling everything. She ain't telling everything, but I'm not telling everything that she told me while she was sitting here. Let me be really clear on that, okay? Because the scope will be really long. I'm just hitting some points, right? Because the emphasis is about integrity, yeah, and spiritual protection. Because I'm not going to be like, well, the daddy's wrong, so you're right. I already know there's 3 sides to every story. Her side, his side, and what happened. Now, I met them when they were together. I was getting my hair done. This was like last year. And they had the baby in the carriage, the child, and they were just so cool. But then when you have known the couple, and then one person come back and say the other person did such and such. Now, and then you come to me. This is the other thing too. When you come to how you end up to the teacher or the reader that you end up with. So I was like, how did she even end up to me, who I got a spot for the kids in my heart, much more than I got a spot for the parents. All I care about is the baby. He took the baby from her, who's now 3 years old or about to turn 3, and the mother has the baby. So he don't have the baby. He won't let her see the baby. The mama got the baby, and then he went behind and whatever. I know what I saw tonight. She wasn't fit to keep the children. And she was just like, I need my children. I need my children with me. That was a possession. That was a possession. I seen it. And she was just like, I need my children. And then I asked her, I was like, have you had an abortion? Yep. She had an abortion before she had this last baby. Now, when I seen what was going on, like, you got to send people energy, like, not just through your thoughts, but that's why you got to stay prayed up. So when you pray for somebody, your prayer got power. That's why you need to have your tools around so you can generate. And Raphael is the healer. I didn't put Raphael on this morning thinking that she needed healing, because I'm just like, I'm gonna just do another reading, you know. There was definitely some psychosis going on, and I was like, yo, have you ever smoked something like outside of weed, or do you know if the weed was laced? And it's like a situation. It's definitely some depression in there. And then while she was sitting here, I think I was typing. I had to send an email out. She started talking. She was just talking through things, and she was just like, all these people are against me. She said, that's why I be having these thoughts of suicide. Listen, it's not natural for a person to have thoughts of suicide. When entities are invading your space, that's when you start to have thoughts of suicide. And I was like, no, love is the only way you're going to come out of this. And you got to fight your way through it and get out of these, like, it really, like, wasn't something that I could I wasn't trying to talk. I wanted her to stay conscious, though. You know, like if somebody's in shock and you want them to keep talking to you, it's kind of like where we were. But she needs ancestral work, but she's homeless. She's staying with someone where she's on a bus. She met them on a bus. And then she was like, that person's they're eating my food. I was like, yo, you all over the place. But you got to have, your ancestors are not happy at all. So I said, you know what? There's got to be an exchange for the work that I'm doing for you, because I want to do some work for you. But you need this money more than me. So I gave her some money back. I gave her over half of her money back for the reading. Blessed it, hit it with my money oil, said some prayers. Some of the things that I do, mental issues are spiritual problems. Mental issues, so the question was, how do I know it's not mental issues instead of spiritual problems? Mental issues are spiritual problems, because that's where they come at. They come in and invade the psyche. Yes. So taking care of your ancestors, putting up your altar, is one of the number one ways to fortify yourself in your psychic self-defense. All right? Because it's coming through the psyche, so you need to protect it. All right? I gave her a copy of How to Find the Teacher, because whoever introduced her to, I want to go on record with this. I want to read this. The high-pitched sound is the spirit attachment removal that I played the whole time she was here. I played that, and then I played the removing negative karma. And then I did look at the chart, but I looked for her spiritual destiny. She kept talking about, so what about my past life? I was like, yo, the problem that you got is not from just no one past life. Yes. So it's very important that you have these kind of tools around the crib, so when you have some company over and some stuff is going on with them, you can, like, do something about it, and not just be like, I'm gonna pray for you. Like, you gotta put some power on it too. It can't be just like simply no, I don't burn copal. All I do, I'm gonna get some dragon's blood, and that's gonna be, look, for me, what I feel is the strongest in my particular. Can anybody else hear? If you can't hear, please. Can anybody hear me? Press 1 if you can hear me. Okay. One thing I did talk about to her was her spiritual destiny. And I made a copy of some stuff for her that I work with in like the first 45 minutes of a reading. All I talk about is your spiritual destiny and your karmic past. In her karmic past, she had been a nurturer, and she still wants to be a nurturer. But in this lifetime, what you've done in your past life that you've mastered, you have to do the opposite. Her south node is in Cancer. So she's been in a householder. She ain't supposed to have them. Not right now. Not right now until she get her stuff together. And now her hands are free so she can go working. So I also gave her a copy of what I want to read to y'all about picking a good teacher, because I was really like, she's been abandoned. She's been like turned on to Yoruba. She wants the Yoruba lifestyle, but nobody is like giving her the tools. She ain't got no protection. She ain't got no prayers, no nothing. But she's like all in. But I'm like, I like, people been taking advantage of you. That was another reason why I gave her money back, because I was like, everybody's has been a drain to you, and that's what I showed her too. I was like, you got drains in your life or fountains in your life. I said, you need more fountains, and I want to be an example of that. And so I was like, I'm gonna give you some things that you can take with you, that you can read on the bus. She said she's going down to the village in South Carolina, and she talked to the brother, and he was like, you could bring your children down here. And I ain't even really like, am I trusting that? But I also had to remember, it ain't my fight. It's not my fight right now. It's not my fight. You got to be careful with people who have a lot of attachments, that you don't come and like snatch up other people's journeys and burdens and things like that and get jammed up. So for me, it was very important to share and be a fountain to her, because everybody's been just taking advantage of her. And in 2000, let me do my 2016 shout. And but 2 things you better learn. 2 things. I'm gonna be talking about 3 things, but 2 you better learn hard body. It's for free. Number 1 is unconditional love. If you don't start loving unconditionally, can you tell when you pick up some of these spirits? I feel like I've been having it being in my childhood home. Truck, yeah. Hold on, let me finish. I get to that. Ask me that after these 2 things. Unconditional love and forgiveness for yourself. Unconditional love and forgiveness of yourself. She holds grudges against all these people who have took for her. Peace, prosperity now. Thanks for joining. And she doesn't have unconditional love for herself. Unconditional love. No, not regular love. Not regular love. 2016 is a 9 year. Yes. But remember, your birthday in 2016 is what your number is. So please, everyone, let's not start putting everything so general. And yeah, it's a 9 year. What's your birthday? Add your birthday numbers up. So 2016 is a 9 plus 5 is 14 plus 17 is 14 plus 17. Help me out, everybody. 7, 8. Why am I having problems with 17 and 14? 31. Right, which is a 4. So I'm not in a, that's not right. 5 plus 9 gives me 14. Then 14 plus 17. Right. Oh, but I haven't had a birthday yet. Excuse me. So add up your last birthday. Ha. So I'm in a 30 year. So add up your last birthday. Everybody add up your last birthday. And that's what year you in. So my last birthday, I'll be in a 31 year on my next birthday. So I haven't, May 17, 2016 hasn't got here yet. So I can't say that, I'm not in a 31-4 year yet. Add up your birthday for your last birthday. That's what year you are in. Right. plug my phone up. The day that you were born, the day that you arrived here in this plane, add up your last birthday. That number is what your number is, okay? Inside of a 9-year. So my birthday equals a 30. My last birthday was 5/17/2015. So I'm in a 30/3 year. All right? We'll do a numerology lesson later. So I just want to share. And I didn't even look at the numerology, yo, because she's been so just add up your last birthday. That's all. Just add up if your last, what do you celebrate your birthday on? Is your birthday February 29th? But oh man, black is absolute. Let me find out, and I'll check with you. I'm gonna go ask my man Tyrain, and we'll work on it. I don't know how to add that up. Maybe use the 28th. Maybe use the 1st. I don't know. Or use the 29th. F it. Do 2/29/2015. Do that. Keep your stuff. So 2 is a year of partnerships. So anyway, a lot of times people being like, I want a reading, or I want a ritual, or I want to see the cards, and they ain't taking no personal accountability for what they doing. They think the cards and all this other stuff is going to solve their problems. It ain't. You gonna solve your problems. I'm gonna solve your problem. Like this medallion, I love it. It does a lot for me. My angel of sanctification, it does a ton of stuff for me. But I'm going to get lined directly up. Okay? Like with me, I got to be 100 before these things start working. I have to be lined up with these arts before they start working for me. All right? So this is what I read about finding a teacher. And this, hopefully everybody, you know what? We're going to end this right here, and I'm going to come back and be like, and I want to read this at the beginning so people will catch this. So I'm logging off because I want this to be at the very beginning. So everybody come back for part 2 right now. Peace.